Hi, I'm Bob Weir with another interview of issues important in the Flower Mound area. My guests today are Flower Mound Mayor Tom Hayden, who along with Chuck Jennings, Flower Mound's Director of Parks and Recreation, and Gary Sims, Executive Director of Community Services in Flower Mound, will be providing information about, guess what? Does this give you a clue what we'll be talking about? Well, there's a proposed tennis center for Flower Mound, and I wanted to have these folks over to explain what is proposed and some of the facilities that we'll be having. So let me begin by saying, tell the residents about the proposed tennis center.
So this is just getting off the ground. Tennis has been talked about in Flower Mound for at least 10, maybe 15 years about having a tennis center. About 9 months ago, the council gave direction to both Chuck and Gary. Can you go find us a location? They searched and searched for a place for us to find a location. The costs are exorbitant to try to find land in Flower Mound for something appropriate, trying to find some place with good access. And so we got to talking. I approached Rob Paul with Toll Brothers. Toll Brothers has a development that's coming in right here called the Bun Gorley location. And I asked Rob, as part of what you're doing here in the Bun Gorley location, could you give the town some of the land for a tennis center? And so Toll Brothers has agreed, and it's the location that we're talking about is right here. This is Rock Point Church. This is where the charter school is going. So it'll be sandwiched right here between the two, has great access to 1171, and very excited. I'm sure residents will have questions about this development. This development fits the town's requirements for a master plan. They are not requesting a master plan amendment, and also they're not asking for sewer. So very grateful for Toll Brothers providing us this opportunity to perhaps put a tennis center there.
So I understand it has to first go before the Parks Board, and then it would go to the P&Z.
Well, so it was part of this whole development. So this whole development is now an active case log before the town. So the development would go to the parks and then planning and zoning and then the council to be approved. So it's all part of one thing. But I think it's important just to let our residents know, again, that they're not requesting a master plan amendment for this area. It is in the conservation area, but they're not requesting a master plan amendment nor a request for sewer.
Okay, so let's talk specifically about the tennis center. How many tennis courts would there be, and how many acres?
We're proposing that it be at least 12 tennis courts, and what we're asking for is 12 to 14 acres. It'll be not just tennis complex. With that amount of property, we'd be able to put other park amenities that would benefit the residents that are next, adjacent to the future center.
How about something like pickleball courts? Is getting more and more popular among seniors?
Yes, pickleball courts, definitely. Hike and bike trails connecting into the subdivision. Playground. We could also put in a small pavilion, and what was the other?
Well, some of the other things that we can do, with the tennis center is have a pro shop. We could put in locker rooms with it. We could have the 12 courts as well as maybe a championship court that could be in there also with seating around it. This land here has got some topography to it, so I think there'll have to be some retaining walls and stuff put in, which could give it a neat aesthetics, which should give it a nice look for Flower Mound.
So we'll look into institutional.
Exactly.
We'd be able to set the courts out so it would really be pleasant and beautiful to look at.
And one thing that I've requested them to do is, as they plan this, is to put the parking right along where Rock Point Church is. There's going to be 96 spaces, so that during special events, Sunday mornings, Rock Point Church can share the parking.
Yeah.
That's a good feature also. Who would manage the facility?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's two different options we could look at. Obviously, at Cotton Cop Hill, they manage it with their staff, the town staff. But most of the ones like McKinney, Southlake, they hire out companies to manage the tennis center for them. They'll enter into contract with them and they'll handle all the operations. The town may take care of maintenance type issues like changing light bulbs, resurfacing courts, janitorial, mowing the grass and things like that. We would probably look at contracting it out. So they have the expertise.
So there'll be, you mentioned there'll be a pro shop? There'll be, will there be instructors for beginners tennis?
Yeah, typically what you see in that is they'll hire a company to run it, and then they'll contract with tennis instructors to do all the lessons, clinics, camps, all that stuff.
Now here's a question that came up. Will there be hard courts only, or will there be clay and grass courts as well?
That's a, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, typically in a municipal court like this, you would have multi-purpose courts.
Multi-purpose.
Yeah, it would be great to come in and put at least one clay court, but right now we're ecstatic just to get 12 multi-purpose.
Sure, and a lot of others will be excited.
We're going to flower mound it up, but however, we're going to do what's going to be the most practical for maintenance.
I suppose there'll be membership fees involved?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll probably have a two-tiered system where you have a resident rate and a non-resident rate. And then also, one of the things, just going back to the amenities, and if we want to talk about the lights at the tennis center.
Right.
All the lights that we'll put in with the tennis center will be lower level lights. It's not like your ball field lights where they're up, 45, 50 feet.
Right.
Tennis is a lot lower. They're more downward facing. With the LED lights now, there's no glare, and it's amazing how the cutoff, once you get to the outside of the fence of the tennis center, it's like completely black. So it can really direct that lights onto the courts, and where it won't be a nuisance to the neighbors.
So you probably have fees for Flower Mound residents and non-residents,
Right, that's correct.
All right. And you also, you said it'll be outdoor. There won't be any indoor tennis, right? It'll all be outdoor.
No, at this time, that's all we think we'll be able to do.
It would be nice, but it's too expensive.
Yeah. Funding is the issue there.
Yeah. This would be, do you think, a 7-day-a-week facility?
Absolutely. I see it being a 7-day-a-week facility, probably shutting down around 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock at night?
Yeah, 9 or 10, and then opening up, 8 in the morning.
And what about things like concessions, stands to sell drinks?
We'll have the pro shop, we'll have concessions. Like I said, I hope to be able to have enough funding to put in some meeting space in the facility also, as well as locker rooms.
That's one of the things that's important about having 12 courts is you can have larger tournaments where people can come to. And so if you have the tennis regulations, you have to have at least 12 to have big tournaments.
Right. And then, like you were alluding to earlier, Mayor, this is just a wonderful location, with cross timbers running this way. I mean, if you're coming in for a tournament off of I-35W or I-35E, you just make one turn, and boom, you're there. You come up from the south at $24.99, take Flower Mound Road. It's just easy access for that, and we'll make an ideal location for hosting tournaments.
It's the ideal location. I mean, we couldn't have picked a better spot throughout town. It's beyond what we had ever hoped we were going to be able to do.
And we already mentioned there'll be fees, so the fees will help to run the center, I suppose. That's money that comes into the town coffers, I suppose. Who will own the facility? Is that the right word? Own it?
It'll be a town of Flower Mound facility.
Okay, so it's owned by the town. All right, let's a couple of questions for the mayor here. How is the tennis center going to be funded?
So again, it's a two-step process. One, once this land is here and the land's donated to the town, which by the way, them donating the land will save our taxpayers approximately $2 million. That's what it costs if we had to go purchase the land. Then the next step is the staff will bring forward and the council will have to approve the funding. So Gary built a similar tennis center when he was in Capel, and it cost approximately $3 million. I don't know what's going to cost with this, but it's $4 or $5 million now to build something similar, but the council will have to allocate the money. That'll be something that'll happen for the next guys.
Since the property is in the Cross Timbers area of the town, are there any issues that will make this property a challenge?
The only thing, as I mentioned before, is the concern about master plan amendments or putting sewer in. Everything's going to be on septic, and they're not asking for any waivers for that. And it's, like I said, it's sandwiched right between this charter school and Rock Point Church. I just think it's, as they said, access, locations, just, we couldn't ask for anything better.
And Gary, I also want to mention, you said something earlier about a grant, there's a Texas Wildlife Grant.
Yeah, we stand a very good chance of getting funding for a $500,000 grant from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation. So one of the reasons it's such a good candidate for that just because the size, 14 acres, we're able to put in some of the playground equipment, pickleball courts, other amenities, trails. And so you get points for all of those you put in. And we're going to do it anyway, so why not go ahead and do that grant application?
Well, that's great. I can't believe we're at the end of this slide. This is so interesting, but it goes very quickly. So I just want to thank you guys, Gary, Chuck, and Tom. Thank you guys for coming over. And this is exciting to a lot of people in the area. You know, some people may not be interested. I used to play some tennis, and you know, my nephews might say not very well, but they are excellent. My nephews and grandnephews, and my nephew Chris Weir was over here yesterday. He brought me the props because I don't even have. I don't even have a tennis racket. And anyway, he was helpful in that. Thank you guys very much for being here.
No, thank you.
Mayor,
Thank you, Bob. Maybe we can get you out there and we get it built and get you playing again.
I certainly would love
to.
to.
We do want to appreciate like Toll Brothers
Yes.
for their consideration of us for this property.
Absolutely. We will do. Thank you very much for watching.